Did you know that life insurance provides way more benefits than just the death benefit? So in this video, we are going to share with you 7 reasons why life insurance is so important. My name is Carmen.
And I'm Darius. And a lot of people take for granted the contract that you get when you get a life insurance policy. But when you start to use that policy, you start to quickly realize it's how you apply that information that you've learned about this specific policy as to how you apply it in your life. Now, the first part that a lot of times people don't realize they have access to is income replacement. Mm-hmm. When you have a life insurance policy specifically designed the way we talk about, where you have cash value that's built up. Matter of fact, all life insurance, whole life insurance products over time builds up something called cash value. Now, how you use that is you can use that cash value to replace your income. Now, let's say that you lost your job for a short period of time. There's cash value there that you can use in order to help you take care of yourself until you find new employment.
The other thing to note is with income replacement, the whole reason why we buy life insurance in the first place is to replace income should something happen to a loved one. So that's another component that you need to think about. Income replacement is if we were to lose, the breadwinner of the house, for example, you have the death benefit in place to replace their income for a specific period of time. And like Darius said, if you need temporary access to cash, the cash value inside of your whole life insurance policy can help you replace your income in a bind.
Yeah. Now, the second point is access to cash. Now, you would think that this falls in line with income replacement, but it kind of goes separately because it's how you decide to use that access that you have. A lot of times what we think when we think about access to cash, we think about the banks and how we use or leverage the banks to borrow money and getting loans, credit cards, things of that nature. But when you have a life insurance policy and you're intentional about what you're doing, you have access to cash or these pool of funds that you can invest. You have access to cash or these pool of funds that you can use to put a down payment on your home. You have access to cash where you can choose how you pay this money back, or if you decide to pay it back at all if you do a withdrawal. Mm-hmm. You have options when you have a life insurance policy that I think we really need to increase our knowledge around so that we can make sure we're using it to the best of our abilities.
Yeah, and I think if we just go back to the topic of access to cash, that's the biggest thing, is just having the access, regardless if you use it or not, because sometimes when we need access to cash, we may not have accounts that we can go to. That's why it's important for everyone to understand the importance of whole life and how you can utilize the policy while you're living so that you can access cash when you need it, and you don't have to apply for it. You don't have to qualify for it. The money is just there, and you're not penalized also for being able to have access to this cash. And sometimes that just provides the biggest peace of mind that we all need in our financial lifestyles.
Yeah, 100%. Now, the third thing is financial stability. Financial stability it goes perfect here because when you have financial stability, you have access to cash, you have income replacement. There, you don't have to worry about being on defense about what could happen or what might happen because you're stable. You realize that you have something to have your back in the event something does happen, which allow you to make better decisions about how you choose to create additional income in your life.
Yeah, and with how Darius and I have utilized our whole life insurance policy, as you all know, if you're new to this channel, we have used our policies to pay off debt. We've used policies to pay our entire lifestyle needs. And a lot of times this has provided tremendous financial stability because now we are in the driver's seat. We have paid all of our debts off. We're paying all that money back to our own system so that we can control the direction of money. It's no longer leaving our household. It's coming back into our household with principal and interest. So that's where the financial stability, I'd say, for our personal journey has really magnified with just understanding how to use this financial product that we all have access to.
Yeah, because it's a different feeling when you can finance your vehicle. You don't have to worry about missing a payment, the interest rate. You finance it yourself. So if you something does come up, what you can do is you can skip a month and you can pay the following month. You can control the interest rates. You can control your lifestyle. And with control, again, there's a feeling or a sense of stability.
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind.
Keep saying it.
A peace of mind because you have control. When you're in control, things feel differently.
Yeah. I think this video should be renamed to like 7 ways you can get peace of mind because everything that we're talking about all falls into this realm. And once you start to educate yourself and expand your mind and expand your abilities with having access to cash and understanding how to use certain financial products and moving money responsibly, that's where the peace of mind comes, because you no longer look at things from a linear standpoint. You recognize it can be whatever you want it to be.
Are you looking for a life insurance policy specifically designed to help you accomplish your financial goals?
And if you have a policy or if you're looking for more education, would you like to be a part of a community with like-minded individuals who are all using life insurance to accomplish their financial goals? If so, click on the link below. We would love for you to join the Wealth Nation Money School. So the next point that we're going to talk about is kind of 2 in 1. It's legacy planning and estate planning. So we're merging those two together because legacy planning, first and foremost, should be what are your ideas for making sure that you can move money to the next generation in the simplest way possible. And that's the biggest part of having a death benefit is it's a simple contract with you and the life insurance company. You can say this X is going to go to, this person, and this person. You can decide who your money is going to, but the key to this is you have to have the conversations and continue to educate your family and the ones who are going to come after you with how to responsibly use the death benefit should something happen to you. Because far too often is families receive death benefits and then
without any instruction.
With no instruction and financial education. So what happens to the death benefit? Sometimes it just goes sideways because the family wasn't left with the proper education needing to support themselves.
Right. And I think what happens is a lot of time we think when it comes to planning for what is to happen is we leave it to somebody else. We think that it's something that we actually go and do and have, like just checking a box of having life insurance, having your plot set up, making sure you talk to the funeral director and having your suit pick out is more than just that. It's about the conversations as to what you want to happen with these funds so that it can continue to support the family for not just the next generation, but even moving forward, because the same plan that you have could be the blueprint that is used when the people that receive the money were to pass on. Because ideally, if the money that we receive is only a small part of the value in which we can pass on information. The true value is the information that you pass on along with the money so that you can have the next generation be better off than how you started.
Absolutely. And the second part of this, estate planning, and I'm going to break this down so that it hopefully makes the most sense, because estate planning can be somewhat complicated, but I'll consider estate planning to be organizing your assets in a way that can transfer when you're gone. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That was good enough. So a lot of times people just have their money in a bank account, and that's fine. A lot of times people just have properties in their names, and that can be okay. But you never know when if something were to happen to you, what will happen with the heirs? Like, for example, will they fight over the funds? Do they know how the funds should be distributed? It's all about organizing all of your assets in a way in which it can be transferred seamlessly to the next generation.
Especially when you're a business owner.
Yes.
Especially when you're a business owner, you want to make sure that you have your estate planning in place, because your business is something separate from you. So you also have to think of the system that you're creating separate from you, which includes your life insurance policies and maybe how they fund one another or fund other assets or pay off assets. You really have to take these things into consideration, and life insurance gives you the ability to start having that conversation.
Yeah, and I think estate planning is one of those fancy terminologies that are used in the financial realm, and really estate planning is just everything that I own, everything that I am touching, how should it be organized in a fashion where, again, it can be transitioned seamlessly. So think about it from that standpoint. It's nothing fancy other than just getting all of your ducks in a row. That's really what it is.
Right.
So the next piece that we want to talk about is supplemental retirement income. This is a huge topic that we want to continue to talk about on the Wealth Nation channel, because we a lot of times talk about our lifestyle needs today. We don't necessarily focus on our lifestyle needs in the future. And this is a big topic that, again, we want to start talking about. So thinking about retirement income. We have done a previous video before where you can link it here, or you can watch it here, where we talked about how to use a policy that is specifically designed for your retirement. Think of it in competition with like a 401k or IRA, for example. You are funding the specific policy in the same way that you would your retirement accounts, but you know that at some point you're going to start accessing the capital when you retire. This is a huge asset and opportunity that you can take advantage of, because the other thing to note is that with life insurance, it's really what you want it to be at the time of you deciding to start a policy. So today it might be lifestyle needs, tomorrow it might be for your children, the next day it might be for retirement income. So you are able to design policies in many different ways to solve your financial goals.
Right, because the thing is, you have your life insurance policy for your entire life. And there's a lot of things that happen in between your end of life and right now. So one thing to take in consideration when we think about supplemental retirement income, let's say you are taking your distributions from your 401k. Maybe we're in a down year, or the market's not doing what we expect it to do. And by you taking income, you will significantly reduce the amount of cash that you have in your nest egg. Well, maybe you can skip some time and use your insurance policy instead, so that you don't deplete those funds, because it just may not be good timing for you to deplete those funds at that particular time.
Absolutely.
So you can use your life insurance policy for supplemental retirement income.
And that's a huge nugget, especially something that we are going to start utilizing in our own personal journey, because again, it's always been about like today's needs, and not that we don't have tomorrow's needs covered, but the idea is how can we continue to be more aggressive with future planning, so that again, we can teach you all the things that we continue to do in growing our own financial systems.
Yeah, the point of it is to be intentional. There's a difference when you have something and you're not quite sure of how to use it, but when you're intentional about how you're going to use it, it opens the doors for not only more opportunity, but more knowledge for you to continue to grow your financial understanding.
That's a good one. Intention is huge.
Right.
All right. So moving on to the next property that we want to share with you is the reduction of taxes. So this is humongous, with especially what we were just talking about with retirement income, legacy planning, financial stability. So when we think about the reduction of taxes as it relates to life insurance, whole life specifically, is every time you pay your premium, you have access to cash, which is your cash value, right? And that cash value year over year is going to continue to compound and grow at a tax deferred rate. And there is nothing that can out earn tax-free compounded interest. So we have the growth of the policy. That is a huge bonus, because it's going to grow at a tax-free rate. In comparison, think about retirement products. Those can grow at compounded rates, but remember, when it comes time for you to retire, you're going to be hit off of the gate with taxes if you have a 401k, for example. The other thing to note is that anytime we access the cash, we get it in a loan form. We don't get withdrawals, because we don't want to be subjected to taxes. So every time we access our cash value, we request a loan. That way there's no tax implications, which is another play when it comes to investing. We can utilize the loan from a policy to make investments to reduce the amount of taxes that we
pay on the capital gains.
Exactly.
Right. Very, very good way of explaining
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
explaining the reduction of taxes. And with that, I'm just going to move on to point number 7, which is financial protection. Now, when it comes to financial protection, the one thing that we have to take in consideration is creditors. What you have with your life insurance policy is a contract between you and the insurance company, and your creditors cannot come after your policies. Now, I know for us, we have our policies in the state of Arizona, and Arizona is one of those states that's protected from creditors. And what I want you to do with this information is, if you're in a different state, make sure you go and you look up that information to see if you are in a state that's your life insurance policies is protected by creditors, because this is very important in our planning to make sure that what we want to go on into the next generation goes to the next generation, not a penny less.
Absolutely.
And that also goes back to like how you do your estate planning. If you're in one of those states where your life insurance policy isn't protected by a creditor or divorce, then you may want to do something with estate planning, so that you can have those ducks in a row, so that you can get those funds to the people that are supposed to get it.
Absolutely. And the whole financial protection not only goes into the creditor piece, but it also just, it goes back to the estate planning. I would say if we look at all of getting our ducks in a row, right, we want to cover our assets in more ways than one, so that if something, again, were to happen to us while we're living, or if we pass, we have everything that we need and it's already been set up for us. So a lot of times we don't think about, if we were to lose a job, what we would need as far as financial protection is concerned, and then again, if we pass, what our families would need should something happen to us. So again, the 7 things that we talked about was income replacement, access to cash, financial stability, legacy planning / estate planning, supplemental retirement income, reduction of taxes, and financial protection. These are all of the amazing benefits and services that are provided to you with the fact that you own a life insurance policy. And these topics aren't necessarily always talked about because it's just assumed that you know that this is available to you. But this is another reason why it's so important for us to own life insurance policies and for us to continue to educate the Wealth Nation on life insurance, because you just never know what you need until you need it.
Right.
And sometimes it's too late. So that's why we got to get this information out in front of you sooner rather than later, because it's all about getting set up for the future.
Right. And it's not about the information we give you. It's also about the little nuggets that you get to go off and do research for yourselves, because education is key. There's a lot of things that are available to us that we don't even realize we have access to. But once we start to educate ourselves, we're able to own our own lifestyle, own our own destination in which we want to go. And that happens by taking ownership and responsibility.
Absolutely. And again, it all goes back to education, folks. We just can't stress this enough. Continue to educate yourself so that you can continue to level up not only your mindset, but your finances. Because when you have access to more education, you have access to more capital.
Remember to own your own lifestyle,
or someone else will.